Hello everyone and welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Josh, joined as ever by Scott Tilford, aka the man who plays everything, aka the light of my life, because apparently you might have the best news of all time for me today, Scott, because I've heard rumblings through the grapevine that there's going to be a new Crash Bandicoot game.
They are true. So this has appeared on Reset Era. Apparently this game has been in development for quite a while and it's been shown behind closed doors ever since October. But yeah, there was a big old post on Reset Era after a lot of fans noticed a new mask following behind Cortex and Coco in the latest PlayStation It's Time to Play trailer. So yeah, people sort of took to online and sort of started scouring the interwebs and whatever, and a big old post on Reset Era pretty much just outlined the way that it's going to go. So yeah, the new Crash Bandicoot game, the first one from Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob that isn't a remake or, you know, Crash Team Racing or whatever, is going to be called Crash Bandicoot Worlds.
First question.
Go on.
First question, and in my opinion, the most important question. Does he have tattoos this time?
He does not have tattoos. There's one image for this where he's holding a set of keychain, set of keys, which makes me think of a Crash Team Racing, regular Crash hybrid. But the version of him in there does look quite slick. They've sort of like slicked his eyebrows back and sort of like made him look a bit more smooth.
Oh, he's had like a makeover.
Not like a makeover, but he just looks a bit more corporate. He looks a bit more smooth.
Oh, okay. I don't like that. So he's a businessman now. He's gone from the tats to a clean, cut.
I don't think there's any holes in his jeans. So I think the main thing is that they want like a new age Crash. I mean, for the most part, his 2 only really worked at the end of the 90s anyway.
Yes, very much.
But either way, you've got Crash Bandicoot World, image of him holding some keys, which I'll get back to. And there are some other new details. The game's apparently going to be playable kind of like Mario 3D World, or 3D Land. Sorry.
Could you explain this to me, because I did not play this game?
Well, so the thing is, I don't like this because it makes it sound like Twinsanity, which I don't mind, but it makes it sound like a weird isometric take on Crash. Because Mario in 3D is always this kind of like half isometric approach where the camera is like slightly off to the side, up a bit, and down again, which is opposite to the Crash style of over-shoulder gameplay that we know and love.
Yes.
So the leaker who posted all this stuff on Reset Era said that the nearest comparison is this 3D Mario 3D thing, which I don't like that much. But if you've ever played 3D Mario, you know that's. Well, you've seen it.
You've
seen some screenshots.
I played 3D Marios before. I love Super Mario Odyssey, for instance.
There you go.
And I think the thing with Mario is that he's constantly evolved as, time has gone on. We've got new generations, we've got new styles of games, and he's kept relevant in a way that the old Bandicoot never really has. I'm doing this a lot with my hands. I don't know what it really means.
You in a PR meeting for Crash Bandicoot? This.
But what I'm trying to say is
synergy.
That we have an idea of what Crash is, and it's based off that original Naughty Dog trilogy of over-the-shoulder, linear gameplay. But just because we have such nostalgia for that style doesn't mean Crash can't work in a new context. And if I had to take, and this isn't really being generous, but if I had to take that approach, transforming Crash into this sort of 3D, almost isometric, faraway camera thing, rather than Mind Over Mutant, which has you bashing mutants and riding them, I mean, I'd take this any day of the week.
Same.
But how are they going to implement the Crash Team Racing stuff? Because if he is jangling a keychain, that does imply that they're trying to merge the two,
Well, I
realms.
think it's weird. There's some stuff that for the rest of this leak, because I want the keys is the most interesting thing, which we'll end on because that's the pure speculation stuff. But so one of the masks that was in the new PlayStation trailer is this kind of like Aztecian sort of look, and there are 3 new masks that are going to be introduced to the world alongside Aku Aku and Uka Uka, Luna, Sun, and Eclipse.
Do we have any information on these? What do these mean? Okay.
No, but I think that the one in the PlayStation trailer is Eclipse, just by the way that it looks. Doesn't look like a sun, doesn't look like a moon. I'm going to say that it's Eclipse.
Like an eclipse.
And the last thing, which is the second last thing, which is the most exciting thing, is that there are 3 new character types that have been described, JP.
You did tease this before you came in.
So they've said a whole bunch of new enemies are obviously going to be in the game. But alongside, let me reel these off, new characters for the Crash Bandicoot universe. 1, a hybrid cat frog.
Excellent.
Good, I like that quite a lot. A wombat.
Fine.
Do you want a rhino?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We've already had a wombat before, that big muscly one. He was a koala, not to worry. The last thing, which is the best thing, is a rapping monkey.
Love this. Absolutely love this. Just give me the game. Actually, you know what, Scott?
Go on.
Pie Crash Bandicoot off. Get him out of this game. Make it Rapping Monkey Simulator 2020.
To be fair, Donkey Kong has Funky Kong and always had. Yeah. So it's about time that the Crash Bandicoot universe has some sort of freestyle scansion flow. I mean, where is it, to be honest?
I don't know.
So apparently this is going to be announced in December. They've been showing it behind closed doors ever since October, but we're going to get some sort of announcement in December, maybe at the Game Awards, I guess.
Yes,
I don't
that
know.
would make sense.
For a 2020 release. But to bring it back to the set of keys, that is the thing that this is pure just wish fulfillment territory, but I just think that at this stage, they've built the Crash Team Racing engine, or remastered it, they've built the standard Crash Trilogy stuff, just merge them together, just David Brent it, and just have it so we Crash Team Racing from one point to the next, but when you get there, you go into a Crash level and then you drive to the next thing.
Right, I'm conflicted about this. I'm going to lay my heart out for you right now, because I love Crash Team Racing, I love Crash Bandicoot. I wonder whether that might be a bit too gimmicky. If you've got a sort of open world thing, maybe it's best to focus on one thing, the traversal on foot, and do it really well, rather than trying to merge two things that people like together. But said that, it does make a lot of sense considering it is a sort of co-developer thing. You've got Toys for Bob and Vicarious Visions, both of which worked on, the Insane trilogy and also Crash Team Racing. So to me, the fact that you're bringing those two teams together indicates that you would be meshing both of the styles.
I just don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, I know that Crash Team Racing is has microtransactions now and kind of is this sustainable platform for content. If you want to just go play CTR to your heart's content, my love for that game completely died when Jules beat me at it, so I haven't been back to it.
I literally
haven't been back to it in months. Petty. But at the same time, I think that the amount of work that they've put into it, I mean, either they continue to let CTR just be the thing on the side, or they make the most of the assets that they've built. I mean, I think that it kind of makes sense having some sort of vehicle component in it, because at least that sort of modernizes it, gives Crash something fresh and something new, and it gets away from stuff like Twinsanity, Mind Over Mutant. There was that other one that was in there somewhere, where they didn't really seem to know what they were doing, and Crash had tribal tats, and the gameplay was really boring, and they didn't really seem to know what they were doing with the character. At least there should be something new in the mechanic side.
Yeah,
why has he got keys, George? Why has he got keys?
I don't know, but you mentioned Twinsanity a lot there, right?
I love Twinsanity.
I quite liked it,
Yeah,
but I appreciated it for what it tried to do, because it tried to really evolve Crash for a sort of new era. And in my opinion, it didn't get it totally right, but it was far better than the games that followed it, and it kept that sort of distinct Naughty Dog sort of style and just tried to update it essentially. With this, I want them to try to do something similar. I want them to go get that sort of nostalgic love for Crash, but update it, like you said. And I feel like if you can nail that, if you can somehow merge old Crash with new ethoses, that would be perfect, and it would sell like hotcakes. What I don't trust is that obviously this is Activision, who even though they have been releasing these great remasters, they haven't tried to build on these franchises in any substantial way, and we know that they love absolutely getting money as much as possible, and I don't know how they're going to justify releasing a game that focuses on sort of single player and sort of the tenets that we love about the franchise and still make the X amount of money that they want to make.
It's weird because at this point, like you said, it's Activision and they put Wumpa coins into CTR, not at launch because then they get around all the review stuff, but they ended up getting put into there later. I hope they don't monetize a platformer, but they totally could. I think it's weird because, like you said about them building on established franchises, they're pretty much like they're carrying the baton forward kind of thing. The amount of stuff that they've put into, because we had the slippery climb stuff in the Crash trilogy where it was like an unused Naughty Dog level, and then we had a whole bunch of unused stuff that was kind of, I don't know, we went back to it and restructured it again for Crash Team Racing. So they've kind of gone back to the archives. I feel like they've bled that stuff dry at this point and they need to do original stuff. And there's been new tracks in CTR, but this is a weird branching point for them because they've had so many, they've done the nostalgia play over and over again. And now it's like, if you're that developer, assumedly you're in the right mindset to carry things forward. You see the Naughty Dog charm coming through when you're remastering this stuff and going back to the archives and whatever. But at the same time, does anyone care about Crash Bandicoot if it's not from the 90s? I don't know if I do.
That was going to be my big question, because I do, Scott. I love Crash Bandicoot. I want him to be my friend and potentially lover, but at the same time, I can acknowledge that a part of why, the Insane trilogy, even Crash Team Racing and Spyro Reignited sold so well was because of the love people have for not only those games, but the feeling they had when they played those games 20 years ago or whatever. And I wonder whether that will carry over into new experiences, especially if they do sort of diverge away from what people expect. But that said, I definitely want to see them try to do it.
I want to see them try. The 3D platformers are in a bit of a weird spot. It's just we have this kind of semi-resurgence of them alongside, like you said, Crash and Spyro. But do you think the genre's bankable today?
Well, this is something I was going to ask you, Scott, because I don't know. The question on my mind is whether they would have been better off doing this sort of, more ambitious Crash, making it a worlds thing, potentially combining the kart racing with the regular platforming and making it a full $60 sort of game, or perhaps limiting it a bit.
60's not not going to work.
Well, this is it. Or perhaps limiting it, maybe going 30 and creating a more classic Crash experience where you have the linear levels and it plays out sort of, safer, but perhaps in a more bankable way. I don't know.
Maybe. I think the Mario 3D World comparison is interesting, just in terms of because one of the best things about like the 3D Marios that get it right is that really tight level design, the really evocative sort of stuff, like good world variety, things like Mario Galaxy and whatever. Like you can focus on doing that stuff. Again, because with Mario Galaxy, obviously went up to space, you can have your big lava planet and whatever else. I wonder if you can do that much with Crash in the same way where you have like such an array of different, like level sets or biomes or whatever. Like for me, Crash feels like this Aztecian sort of aesthetic, and I wonder if you're trying to like build it out and be more modern with it and do new things with it. Maybe it is just kind of rooted in this specific identity.
I don't know whether that's just the nostalgia talking, that we have for those older games. Because even Crash 3 branched out into worlds that weren't based on those themes and went down a wackier route, and you gave Crash a bazooka and a lot of different abilities.
That's
so
the best
it's not
thing
like
in history, though.
Exactly. Your fire's fruit. But the point is that Crash, although we see him as this, lovely guy who spins and jumps, he has a lot of other abilities, and it would make sense to sort of build on those and give him a bigger move set.
Does he?
He can double jump.
He can
slide. He's got a bazooka, Scott. All I'm saying is, once you've got over that hurdle, you can give him anything.
You're not wrong. I mean, he does have a bazooka, but I don't know. At this point, I just don't trust it. We've had a whole decade of them trying to do stuff that wasn't related to Naughty Dog, and this is a bold new potential, like I said, carrying of the baton into the future. And I for one am cautiously. What's the opposite of optimistic? Cautiously pessimistic. I'm cautiously pessimistic, but I want to know what you think down in the comments below of a potentially new Crash Bandicoot game developed by the people that brought you the original beloved trilogy remasters in the first place. But for now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've been Josh from WhatCulture.com.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.